couple minutes away from arriving to Tallahassee, but before I get there, what are the best business credit cards to get me airport lounge access? Because I fly so much, I want to be inside one of the exclusive lounges. The top two cards I'm looking at are the Amex Platinum, which gets you into all the beautiful Centurion lounges. Unfortunately, there isn't one at my home base here in Orlando, but they're everywhere. That comes with like a $700 annual fee. You get a bunch of perks, which makes it worth it, more than covers that value. And then the other option is the Capital One Venture X. So that one is, I think, $395 a year. You do not get the Centurion lounges, but you do get a bigger network of Premium Plaza. You get Priority Pass, and then one other one. And there are those at my home base in Orlando. So I've been trying to figure out which one's the better deal, and I want to know who is using it and what is it like, because I don't want to sit at the gate with the chaos. Within that minute of me getting out of the car, I just got booked for 8 days of corporate work in Arizona in October. So that'll be a fun trip. 2 days of travel, 6 days of work, full day rates, so be a good one. One unique perspective I can deliver with this YouTube channel is I can show you what it's actually like to grow as a freelance filmmaker, not someone who's already made it and then they're telling you certain stories that were instrumental. You guys are actually watching me move from job to job, watching a day rate change, watching the clients change. In particular, I made a documentary and it got me into this MMA promotion. The promoter put my name in for a series that was coming into town. I filmed on that. That's targeted for Netflix. And then my buddy saw me doing all of this live combat. That's how I got into ESPN. So we can easily just see this is one possible route that someone has taken. And it's someone living now, working with clients now. And I just feel like that's hard to find. There's a couple other people who do it on YouTube, and it's so awesome to just see real world application of being a freelance filmmaker and someone like my level who is not established. They're just a person. So I'm really happy that I can show you guys all of this, and I want to continue to do it because I know in a few months I'll post something big and then I'll be like, look at what I was doing before. So far, the e-image tripod is working great, very fluid and smooth, although I thought I had locked the camera down and it actually fell. Luckily, it fell into my arms, but I need to figure that out. And then, as always, having the V-mount batteries on the back really does balance the weight. Now, I am not a fighter, but I have taken a couple classes, and I was rolling with Ari, the girl who won. She won by guillotine, and that is how she makes me stop breathing every time we roll together. So it was cool to see her win. And then in the back here is Val. So he fought for Combat Night and recently fought for the UFC. I mean, he had the toughest test against Bo Nickel, but it's cool to see someone who's fighting here make it into the UFC, and that's kind of what the docu-series is about. So that whole show is going to be a really in-depth look at these fighters here and them wanting to make it to the big show.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee Larry Folsom calls a stop to this fight for your winner out of the blue corner, Damon.
You can see the file name in the middle of the monitor, CN_, and then the clip number. So Combat Night. And then the clip number. I'm trying to really get into that as a standard ever since I did the documentary last week. I think it's just good for organizational purposes. And this fighter has a dead raccoon on his head, so it's by no surprise that he won his fight. Random Airbnb in the middle of nowhere, Florida. Oof. So this is what I was talking about. So I like this. It's tight. It's secure, right? If you loosen it up about one turn, you can slide it off, no problem, by hitting this side button and pushing forward on the camera and pulling it off. Now the problem with that is you pull it off, and then when you go to pull it back on, push it back on, this hasn't released the lever enough, so it doesn't actually clip. But if you release it, now it's in, and then you tighten. So I just have to remember when I take it off to not just do a little turn, to do like 2, put it off, put it on, and retighten. That's the only thing, because sometimes I will take it off with just a simple turn, trying to be fast, and then I'll put it back on and forget that it's not actually clipped in. I have to loosen it more and then go down. So of course, every time I'm in North Florida, I gotta stop off at the springs.
I don't know, doing something crazy.
You got your blue water Floridians, and then your brown water Floridians. So sometimes this happens in Florida Springs. You have the spring head here, and then it joins with the river, and sometimes there's a really hard line. But my recommendation is to stay out of the dark water. However, when you do get in the river water, it's like 10 degrees warmer, so I get it. I just found out with the American Express Platinum, the $700 a year card, you get access to the Centurion lounges, the Delta Lounge if you have a Delta ticket, the Plaza Premium lounges, and the Priority Pass lounges. So basically, whatever airport you're in, there will be a lounge you can go to, and if one is full, you can go to the other. So I think that's the credit card that I'm gonna go with. If anybody has this Aperture 60D case, you know it is just not big enough to hold all of the stuff it comes with. So I took out this wall already, and now we're gonna take out this wall too, because there's the wiring and the AC adapter is just too hard of a fit. So now with this wall taken out, this can fit in here, and this is the stuff that can technically fit. I know exactly how it goes, but if I hand this to a PA, they don't really know. So this allows for a little bit more margin for error. This can stick in here, and then hopefully now we don't have to buy a new case. By the way, this is gonna be the new gear station. So the living room is gonna have all this gear. I'll probably put a little folding panel in front of this, but stage all my gear here so that the closet can actually be used for clothes. So my very few items are gonna go here, and then this will all be for my girlfriend. This will move out over here, and we'll use this for what it's supposed to be used for. All right, cheers, dog. This is my buddy Adam. He just moved here from Arizona not too long ago, and I had a job come my way. I couldn't do it, so I handed it off to him. I was booked. And I didn't take a fee or percentage, and that's not because I'm a nice guy. That's because if you do that, you have a level of responsibility for the project, and I don't want that. I have enough on my plate. So he knocked it out of the park. Client came back and said, we want to do it again, but this time in Los Angeles. So he contacted me and said, hey, I want to bring you in as the DP. And I really appreciate that, because I didn't expect to get anything out of it, but I feel like we can all help each other. It doesn't have to be so cutthroat and dog eat dog. And these types of nights are a little different than the filmmaker meetup, talking more about like life goals or just what's happening, and not so business oriented. But I had him up against the ropes on this game of pool, and he pulled it off towards the end. So I will need some redemption back in LA. And still looking at a new spot for the next filmmaker meetup. I am thinking about Dallas.